We're now joined by Jim Leech, CEO of the Ontario Teachers Pension Plan. Jim, glad you could join us this morning. I say you're a bit unknown, but honestly, you're giving Blackstone, Carlyle, KKR a run for their money as deal makers. What's different about the way that you do business from the way that we typically know private equity firms to do business?
Well, as a private equity firm operation, so to speak, within a pension plan, we have some different motivations. First of all, we're working on behalf of our 300,000 members, beneficiaries in the pension plan. Secondly, we have a much longer time horizon, whereas the stereotypical private equity firm talks about a 3-year buy and hold for 3 years. We're really dealing with time frames that can be 40, 60, 80 years, because when a young teacher joins the profession in Canada in their late 20s, they're going to teach for about 28 years, and then they're going to retire for about 35 years. So we have them for a long time. So that's probably the biggest difference, is the time frame that we have.
Jim, the model that you pursue enables you to avoid all kinds of conflicts, the one that we've seen infect pension plans down here in the United States. Is it a model, though, for other pension plans to follow, to invest directly rather than with other funds or through consultants? And if so, what kind of scale do you need to be able to do that?
Well, I think the thing to really emphasize is that it doesn't happen overnight. So if somebody listening to this gets inspired that they're going to turn their pension plan into a direct investor tomorrow morning, I mean, that isn't going to happen. The key is to have the appropriate governance structure. We're very fortunate in Canada in that the large plans in particular are set up where they have a board of directors who supervises and delegates authority to management, who run the pension plan as a business. Not as a, as just an investment portfolio. And so we can attract the right types of people to our board. They're professionals. They have lots of experience in investments and finance, etc., as opposed to just being overseers. And that in turn allows them to create the right culture, a risk-taking culture, a culture that understands transactions when we bring them to the table.
Jim, I want to know what your take is on Wall Street today, post-crisis, the quality of the advice you get, the services provided by the banks. Are they more or less relevant to you than they were before?
Well, the Wall Street is still somewhat in a shock. They're coming out of it. Credit is more readily available today than it was yesterday. It's another advantage we have as a pension plan in that we don't necessarily require the type of leverage that a stereotypical private equity firm would have. We can, as I say, we're holding this for the long term. It isn't just a quick financial fix-up and then sell the company. Generally speaking, Wall Street's hungry for business. They're knocking on our doors, etc. But again, we probably have less reliance on the street, so to speak, because we like to do our own due diligence.
Jim, very quickly, we only have 20 seconds. What do you see as the single biggest risk to the financial system right now?
The single biggest risk, we believe, is the specter of inflation. Will governments around the world who have done a great job at pulling us, slowing the nosedive and bringing us up a little bit, will they have the guts to pull the stimulus at the right time that we don't go into an inflationary spiral?
Jim, thanks for your thoughts. We got to wrap. Jim Leech, CEO of the Ontario Teachers Pension Plan. Thanks, Jim.